In the drylands of northern Ghana, where the wind carried dust across wide fields and the baobab trees stood like ancient watchers, there lay a quiet village called Kapatinga. Life there was not easy. The soil had grown tired, the rains were uncertain, and hunger had become a familiar visitor in many homes. Every morning, the women woke before sunrise to pound millet, and every evening the elders gathered beneath the great baobab tree, sharing stories of a past that seemed far better than the present. Among the villagers lived a boy named Atia. Atia was not like the others. Where most people accepted their struggles, Atia questioned them. Where others feared the unknown, Atia felt drawn to it. His stubbornness was known across the village. Some called it courage, others called it trouble. One evening, as the sun melted into the horizon and painted the sky in deep orange, the elders began one of their old stories. They spoke of a hidden treasure. Long ago, they said, the village had been rich, not just in gold, but in prosperity. But something had changed. The treasure had been taken deep into the forest, guarded by a powerful woman known as Na Yelba, a witch. The villagers believed she was the reason for their suffering. They feared her, and no one dared to enter the forest anymore. But as Atia listened, something inside him refused to accept the story as it was told. If the treasure belonged to the people, why was it still hidden? That night, while others slept, Atia made his decision. Before dawn, he left the village and walked toward the forest. The moment he stepped inside, the world changed. The air grew cooler, heavier. Sunlight filtered weakly through the thick leaves above, casting moving shadows on the ground. The deeper he went, the quieter it became, as though the forest itself was watching him. Still, Atia pressed on. Branches scratched his arms and roots twisted beneath his feet, but he refused to turn back. His mind was fixed on one thing, bringing back the treasure that could save his people. After hours of walking, he finally saw it. A clearing opened before him. At its center stood a massive baobab tree, older than anything he had ever seen. Its roots stretched across the ground like coiled snakes, and beneath it, something shimmered. Gold, real, bright, and glowing in the soft light. Atia's heart raced as he stepped closer. "This is it," he whispered. "This will change everything." But just as he reached out, a voice stopped him. "You have come far, for something that does not belong to you." Atia turned quickly. There, standing as if she had always been part of the forest, was Na Yelba. She was not what he expected. She did not shout or threaten. Her presence was calm but heavy, like the earth itself. Her eyes held a depth that made Atia pause, just for a moment. "You've kept this from my people," Atia said, his voice firm despite the tension in his chest. "They are suffering." Na Yelba studied him carefully. "They suffer," she said slowly, "because they have forgotten balance." Atia shook his head. "No, they suffer because they have nothing, and you are hiding what could help them." A faint wind stirred the leaves. "You think gold will save them?" she asked. "Yes," Atia replied without hesitation. For the first time, something sharper entered her expression. "Gold once brought them pride," she said. "Then greed, then division. What you call treasure nearly destroyed them." Atia stepped forward. "Maybe," he said, "but keeping it hidden is destroying them now." The air suddenly grew tense. The ground trembled slightly beneath their feet, and the roots of the baobab began to shift. "Leave," Na Yelba warned, "or the forest will take you as it has taken others." But Atia did not move. Instead, he picked up a burning branch from a nearby smoldering log and held it tightly. "I didn't come this far to go back empty-handed," he said. The wind rose sharply. Leaves spun through the air, and the roots surged forward like living things. But Atia pushed through them, using the fire to force his way ahead. Fear tried to rise in his chest, but he pushed it down. "I am not like the others," he shouted. With one final effort, he broke through the moving roots and reached the treasure. The moment his hands touched the gold, a deep energy surged through him, strong, alive, undeniable. Behind him, Nayelba cried out. The forest shook, and then slowly began to calm. Her power weakened as though something had shifted. Attia turned to face her, breathing heavily. "This belongs to my people," he said. For a long moment she said nothing. Then quietly she spoke. "Then take it," she said. "But remember, gold does not only bring wealth." When Attia returned to Kapatinga, the village could hardly believe their eyes. The boy who had walked into the forbidden forest had come back with the treasure. Hope spread quickly. With the gold, the village began to change. Wells were dug, farms expanded, trade grew stronger, and children returned to school. Slowly, the grip of poverty loosened. Attia was no longer just the stubborn boy. He became the one who dared. And deep in the forest, beneath the ancient baobab, Nayelba remained, watching, waiting, for she knew something the village was yet to learn. That true strength was not in gold alone, but in what people choose to do with it.